Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribo. Jayam Vishnupad Param Sabari Rajagacharya Ashtu Tushita Shishimad. His Divine Grace, Abhaya Charanavinda, Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Iskcon founders, BBT founders, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parirajagacharya Ashtottara Shatta Shishimad. His Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Anantagari Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Sri Rupa Sri Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Sri Jiva Gopal Bhatt Das Raghunath Sad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai. Prem Sakho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Mathura Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Navadip Dham Ki Jai. Shri Purushottam Kshetra Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Jamuna Mai Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Tulasi Maharani Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Samaveta Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Dari Jaya Girivardhari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradari Jaya Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Jana Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Jana Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Adi Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Jaya Radha Nila Madhav Radha Nila Madhav Radhe, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva. Gurudeva. Jai Om Vishnupada Paramhams Parivrajakacarya Ashtotar Sat Shri Srimat A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Anant Koti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai, Srimad Bhagavata Purana Ki Jai, Bol Premanande. All glories to the Assembly Devotees. All glories to the Assembly Devotees. All glories to the Assembly Devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistuki Srunavatam Swakatha Krishna Punya Sravana Kirtana Hridyasto hi abhadrani Vidyunoti Sruhat Satam. So Hare Krishna everybody. Welcome this morning to the Srimad Bhagavatam discussion, Canto 10, the Samam Bonam, Chapter 87, the Prayers of the Personified Vedas. Today we are going to do text number 19, that is on the board. We will do word by word first, so that will help us in reciting, or help some of us in reciting, and then we will go from there. Swa Kruta Vichitra योनिषु विसन् इव हेतुतया तरतमतः चकासी अनलवत स्वकृत अनुकृति अथ वितथासु अमुषु अवितथम तव धाम समम विरज धिया अनुयन्ति अभिविपनयवः अभिविपन्यवः एक रसम. Okay, here comes the test. Anybody remember from yesterday? You want to try? Priyal, you want to try? Close, but no cigar. Okay. Okay, Sarvabhauma Prabhu, I think you wanted to try. Swakrut vichitra yonisu visanniva hetutaya tarat manatas chakasi anal vatsva kritanukriti atha vitathasva amusva avitatham tvadama samam. Virajdiyo nuyanti abhivipanya ekaras swakrut vichitra yonisu visaniva hetutaya taratamatas-chakisi analvat swa kritanukriti atha vitathasva musva avitatham tvadhama samam. Virajadiyo nuyanti abhivipanyanta ekarasam. That's the best I can do. Next person. Anybody else want to try? Savakrut vichetra yonisu visaniva hetutaya taratmatas-chakisi analvat swa kritanukriti atha vitathasva musva avitatham tava samam. Virajdiyo nuyanti abhivipanayam karasam. Swakrut vichetra yonisu visaniva hetutaya Taratmataschaksi chanalvad swakritanukruti. Atha vitatha swamuswa avitatham tavadham samam. Virajyadiyo nuyanti abhivipam tayav ekarasam. Mataji. Swakrut vichetrayonisu visaniva hetutaya. Atha vitatha swamuswa avitatham tavadham samam. Virajdiyo nuyanti avivipayanva ekarasam. Swakrut vichetrayonisu visaniva hetutaya. Taratamatatsa chakasi analavat swakritanukruti. Atha vithaswamuswa avitatham tavadham samam. Virajdiyo nuyanti abhivipayanva ekarasam. Anybody else? Okay. Now comes the important part also. Word by word. Swa, by yourself. Kruta, created. Vichitra, variegated. Yonisu, within the species of life. Visan, entering. Eva, apparently. Hetutaya, as their motivation. Tarat mataha, according to hierarchies. Chakasi, you become visible. Analvata, like fire. Swa, your own. Kruta, creation. Anukruti, imitating. Atha, therefore. Vithathasu, unreal. Amusu, among these various species. Avitatham, not unreal. Tav, your. Dhamma, manifestation. Samam, undifferentiated. Viraj, spotless. Diyaha, whose minds. Anuyanti, understand. Abhivipanyavaha, those who are free from all material entanglements. Ekarasam, unchanging. Translation and the purport by the disciple of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Apparently, entering among the variegated species of living beings you have created, you inspire them to act, manifesting yourself according to their higher and lower positions, just as fire manifests differently according to the shape of what it burns. Therefore, those of us spotless, intelligent, those of spotless intelligence who are altogether free from material attachment, realize your undifferentiated, unchanging self to be the permanent reality among all these impermanent life forms. Purport. Purport is long. I'm going to read one paragraph, and then what I have done is I read the whole purport and broken out into different sections. The topic that I understood or I realized as I was reading this. And then we will try to understand what the Prabhupada's disciples are trying to tell us about this verse and what I realized from it. So I'm going to comment on that. Okay, that's going to be the format for the class today. Hearing these prayers of the personified Vedas, in which the Shrutis describe the super soul as entering countless varieties of material bodies, a critic may question how the Supreme can do this without becoming limited. Indeed, proponents of Advaita philosophy see no essential distinction between the Supreme Soul and his creation. In the impersonalist conceptions, the Absolute has inexplicably gotten itself entrapped by illusion and has thus become first a personal God, and then the demigods, humans, animals, plants, and finally matter. Sankaracharya and his followers take great pains to cite Vedic evidence to support this theory of how illusion is imposed on Absolute. But speaking for themselves, the Vedas here answer this objection and refuse to lend their authority to Mayavad impersonalism. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Slakaya Chaksurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Radha Govinda Goswami Iti Namine. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarine Vancha Kalpataru Vaishya Kripa Sindhuve Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavi Namaha. So Hare Krishna again. So starting with the translations part of it. He says, apparently entering among the variegated species of living beings you have created, you inspire them to act and manifest yourself according to their higher and lower position. To me, what this translation over this text is trying to tell us. By the way, let me back up a little bit. So all of this discussion is going on to answer Parikshit Maharaj's questions, right? Parikshit Maharaj says, how can Veda describe the absolute truth who is transcendental? And Veda are supposed to be describing three modes of material nature. So how is that possible? So this is what going on in this particular chapter. And this section that we are discussing, we have been discussing and what we are discussing today is the personified Veda itself is now saying this. Okay? And what are they saying? Vedas are saying. Veda is essentially glorifying or saying what the activity Supreme Personality of Godhead is performing or doing. Okay? And this way we get to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So even though it is all about the creation, it is all about the material world, it's all about the three modes of material nature, how it influences the living entities and how the living entities gets created, 8.4 million species of life and all that. Okay? Ultimately what we are we should be understanding from this is that Supreme Personality of Godhead is the one who is the creator, who is the maintainer, and who is the destroyer. So in the very first sentence in this translation, it says, apparently entering among the variegated. So there are two things here. Entering is the one, and then in the same sentence says, you have created, you have inspired them, and you manifest yourself according to their higher and lower position. Does Krishna has a higher and lower position for every living entity? No. But when they take birth in this material world, you take plant life, or you can have animal life, or you can have a human form of life. So in human form of life, you have a more intelligence. So accordingly, Supreme Personality of Godhead guides us. That's what it means when he says that it's a higher and lower position. Okay? Higher and lower position in terms of the material sense and in terms of the body, not in terms of the soul. The soul is the same in the whether you are in the animal form, or whether you are in a plant, or whether you are in a human being. But your intelligence level is higher in a human form. Okay? And that's what the higher level and lower positions is being referred to in this translation. It says, you have created. Of course he has created. He has created. He is the creator of all these material universes or the planetary system. And he is the maintainer. He maintains all of that. He provides everything we need in this material world. Okay? And then he is the destroyer. When the time comes for the annihilation, he is also responsible for the destruction. So all of these things is being discussed about Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Veda personified is saying about all of these about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Moving forward. The analogy used here is fire. How the fire burns. We might see fire burning in a stove, we see fire burning on some location in a building or whatever. We see a different shape of fire, right? Ultimately, we see big flame coming out of it. But if it is at a smaller scale, how do we see? We see the fire contained within that shape of that object. Okay? So here, Supreme Personality of Godhead or the Vedas are saying that you are like that fire within an object. Okay? So you take that shape. Now, does super soul take that shape? No. Super soul doesn't change and say, okay, I'm going to be a square box and I'm going to be a round box or whatever. Okay? But again, it relates to the attitude or the intelligence of that living entities. And that's how the super soul enters in each and every living entity. Okay? That is another part of this, and that is also in the discussion, is that Supreme Personality of Godhead. He expands himself and enters in each and every living entity. When the creation happens, during the creation time, Kshirodaksayi Vishnu, he expands himself as a super soul and enters into each and every living entity's heart. And he resides there. Okay? And we will have some more discussion on that in a minute. Therefore, those of spotless intelligence who are altogether free from material attachment, spotless, intelligent, and free from material attachment, two things. So those are the pure devotees of the Lord that is being referred to. Realize your undifferentiated, unchanging self. The Supreme Personality of Godhead does not change. Okay? There was one class I gave maybe a few weeks ago, it wasn't too long ago, that we had a discussion. Supreme Personality of Godhead does not change. He does not get old as he gets older, as we might say, in a material world. Okay? He is always like a 16-year-old youthful, young man. energy, full of energy. When he was on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he didn't have a gray hair. Okay? He still was a young man. He does not change. Undifferentiated. Undifferentiated means don't see in a different form like a super soul, or they say as a supreme personality of Godhead, Bhagavan himself. Okay? To the permanent reality among all these impermanent life forms. We are all real but impermanent. We don't get to stay here forever and ever and ever. Even Lord Brahma don't get to stay. After 100 years of life, he gets to say goodbye to his creation. Okay. So that's reading at the purport. Now, I'm going to go to, no, not reading the translation, now I'm going to go to the purport. Okay. In the purport, it says, first one, apparently entering among the all variegated species of life, and that was the first part of it. According to Taittiriya Upanishad, Yato va imani bhutani jayante. This cosmic manifestation is an emanation from the Supreme Absolute Truth, and it rests in the Supreme Absolute Truth. Thus, the Absolute Truth has been called ablative, causative, and locative performer. Now, I didn't know these English words, so I had to look it up on a Webster. So, first one is says ablative. Ablative means agent, representative. Okay? The second one is causative, allows or makes things happen. And locative, location, performer. So why are these words used? So I'll read the further purport. And as such, he must be Supreme Personality of Godhead, for these are the symptoms of the personality of Godhead. So these are the symptoms, three things that is defined. So what does that mean? As the ablative performer, ablative means agent, okay, or as a representative. He is the source of all thinking, feeling, and willing in this cosmic manifestation. Ultimately, he is the doer, okay? He is the one makes all of these things happen. He does thinking, he does planning, and all that, okay? So he is the source of all the thinking, feeling, and willing in this cosmic manifestation. Without thinking, feeling, and willing, there is no possibility of arrangements and a design of cosmic manifestation. Okay? So it starts from all this planning, thinking, and all that by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay? Then he is causative. He makes things happen. You know, we say in the material world, if you are in a leadership position in some corporation, you say, let's do the planning, and then let's execute it, right? Let's make things happen, right? So here, Supreme Personality of Godhead, he has given us the same thing for the material world, okay? He is original designer of the cosmos. He is causative. He is the cause of all the causes, okay? And he is also locative, that is, everything is resting in his energy. Material energy, he is Satchidananda, all three energies, okay, that controls Sat, Chid, and Anand. All of those, organizes around Supreme Personality of Godhead. Those same energies, here, everything resting in his energy. So the creation, the material energy, also the living entities, which is neutral or tatastha or however you want to define it, also in a way spiritual energy, all of those energies are resting under the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay? It's the same thing is defined. I was saying in the beginning, Taittiriya Upanishad, in a purport, also it says that Chandogya Upanishad, 6.2.3, it says the same thing, that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the creator, maintainer, and annihilator of this universe. Okay. Reading further on the purport. The process of creation is technical called Srushti, sending forth. The Supreme Lord, Sri Sri Radha Nila Madhava ki, the Supreme Lord sends forth his variegated energies, and these partake of his natural while remaining distinct from him. This fact is expressed in the true Vedic philosophy, Achintya Bheda Bhed. Now, when I read the first paragraph of the purport, there was a word Advaita, right? And now here comes another word, Achintya Bheda Bhed. Okay? So, Srila Prabhupada has explained very nicely in a Quest of Enlightenment book. It's a small handbook, he has written so many small handbooks. So I'm going to read his explanation on these Achintya Bheda Bhed and Advaita. Okay? Says, the basic principle of Advaita philosophy is that the living being is one with God. Now what does this sound like? Impersonalism, right? Impersonalists believe. Now I ran into, let me find that. I had to come back to it. No one see it. Okay. So, Srila Prabhupada says the basic principle of Advaita philosophy is that the living being is one with God. There is a fact. We are non-different from God. For example, the president of our country is an American, and you are also an American. So there is no difference between you as far as being American is concerned. In that sense, you are one, but at the same time, you are not president. Okay? That you are an American does not mean you are an equal level with the president. Okay? That's the Advaita, countering the Advaita philosophy, Srila Prabhupada explained. Going on, Srila Prabhupada says, similarly, we are all qualitatively one with God. Remember the example he uses, the gold. Okay? Gold mine and gold. The small piece or nugget coming out of the gold mine is the same as gold, right? Which is in the mine. But the gold in the mine is large quantity, big pieces. Okay? The one we have, when I might have a coin at home, is a small piece. So, Srila Prabhupada here is explaining that Achintya Bheda Bhed. We are equal, but simultaneously different. We are part and a parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay? Mamai vanso jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatana. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, all these living entities are part and a parcel of me. But at the same time, we are not the President, we are not the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay? We are in a quality. The piece of gold is in a quality same as all the gold we have in the mine. But it's not the same. Same way, we are part and a parcel. We have the same qualities as the Supreme Personality of Godhead because we come from Him, right? We are part and parcel from Him, but not same quantity. That's what Srila Prabhupada is trying to say. Qualitatively means that whatever we have as a spirit soul, God also has. There is no difference in quality. For example, suppose you have a drop of water from a vast Atlantic Ocean and you chemically analyze the ingredients. Composition of drop of water is the same as the composition of Atlantic Ocean water. So, qualitatively, the drop of water is equal to the vast mass of water in the Atlantic Ocean. Similarly, you are a spirit soul, a spark of Supreme Spirit Soul, God. So, we are part and a parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In this purport here, also, there is a Bhagavad Gita 2nd chapter text, Na tvam evaham jatu nasam, na tvam neme janadipa, na chaiva na bhavishyama, sarve vayam atah param. Lord Krishna tells Arjuna, says, Arjuna, all of these guys you see on the battlefield, all these kings, all these people were there before. They are here right now, and they will be in the future. Okay? Na jayate mriyate va kadachin nayam bhutva bhavitavan bhuya ajo nitya sasvato yam purano na hanyate hanyamane sarire. All these souls that you see, they cannot be killed. And he spends good part of the chapter, on the 2nd chapter in Bhagavad Gita, confirming all of those things. Okay? So all of that proves that we cannot be merging like the impersonalists say and lose our identity. The soul is eternal. So that's part is that. So all of this discussion is, if you go back to the translation, all of these points are being made in the translation from this text that we just read. And now in the purport, the disciples of the Srila Prabhupada expanding and trying to explain to us. Okay. Even in the midst of material creation and a destruction, this was also in the translation, that the Supreme Personality is unchanged, it does not change, okay? I think Pranahari Prabhu or somebody quoted Isopanishad, the invocation, you know. Yeah, now I'm blanking out, you're saying it in. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashisyate. Okay. So, Supreme Personality of Godhead is always complete. We don't, the Supreme Personality of Godhead does not create universe and say, okay, you know, you can have this food here, but if you want something special like car made, you have to get it from another universe, like we do. Oh, car parts has to come from the China, or the iPhone comes from the China, or whatever. It's not like that. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is complete, and whatever he creates is complete. And it's not that if you have a basket full of apple and if you take one apple out of it, then you are short one apple, right, in there? It's not like that. When Supreme Personality of God, when He creates something, He creates complete from Himself, and He still remains complete. Okay? All of these things, as I was thinking about all this yesterday, I remember and I forgot the name again. Hanmat Praksak Maharaj's disciple from who went to the England school. Krishna. Radhikaraman Prabhu. Radhikaraman. When he was here, about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, he gave a class about sequel. What is the relationship between Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam? That was the topic. And in that he was talking about the Vedas. And he said the Vedas and he talked about the first text of the Srimad Bhagavatam. He gave a class on that one. And he said Vedas are like, we see if you go on the internet trying to read a news or try to read a newspaper, it says, President Trump in India. Okay? What does that mean? Unless you have some background, you know that Trump is going to India or whatever, Or if the headline says, Sanders is leading the Democrats. Now, who are the Democrats? Unless you have some background, read something about it. So, Vedas are like that. If somebody says, Athato Brahma Jignasa, what does that mean? If you tell somebody, say, Athato Brahma Jignasa, I know people in this room will know what that means, but person outside this room, would that person know? No. You have to have some background. So all of these Vedas, all of these things, when we read Om Purnamada Purnamidam, all of those texts and all that, unless we have some background, some detail behind it, by reading the Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita or whatever, it's not going to be easy to understand. So the bottom line is, we should be reading this and try to understand what the Vedas are trying to tell us. And as I was saying earlier, and I have said it to class before because I started this chapter, giving the class very first text. This is a little complex chapter, complex chapter. It's hard, hard to understand. You have to read it over and over again. The acharyas have even commented in the very first text that, wow, how am I supposed to explain this chapter? So you have to read it over and over again. And one thing that is being commented at the end, and I'm going to go to the end, that's the reason I said that. In Mundaka Upanishad 1-12, I'm going to read the translation. It says, to learn the transcendental subject matter, one must approach a spiritual master. In doing so, now why do you approach spiritual master? Because he has realized the truth. So when you take initiation, or when you select a guru, have a guru, that guru should be giving you should have a full confidence in that person to be able to give you the full knowledge about the absolute truth. Like my Guru Maharaj says, you don't make a guru out of fashion. Oh, everybody else has a guru, So I'm going to have a one guru also. So I can say that I have a guru. Okay. In doing so, he should carry fuel, going back to the translation. In doing so, he should carry fuel to burn in a sacrifice. He should be able to tell you about the Krishna consciousness. The symptoms of such a spiritual master is that he is expert in understanding Vedic conclusion. So if you want to really understand this chapter, if you want to really understand Vedas, then we should have a spiritual master who is able to give us the good understanding, expert understanding about the Vedic conclusion, and therefore he constantly engages in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So two things. This person should be constantly engaged. Person, I'm talking about a spiritual master. The person who qualifies as a spiritual master is constantly engaged in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and should be expert in understanding of the Vedic conclusion. That way that person can give us that knowledge and guide us in the devotional service. So today's summary is, to learn the transcendental subject matter, one must approach a spiritual master. Okay. I'm going to stop here, allow others to comment, correct anything, or have a question. We'll try to answer it. Prana Hari Prabhuji. A little bit louder.
I was just an appreciation. I liked how you quoted verse 7 of the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke.
Jiva Bhuta Sanatana.
I thought that was a nice reference, because it really points out how, the way you used it was, it points out that, the jiva is not equal in total to the Supreme. Krishna is saying they are my amshas. Yeah. And so it's a nice verse. Thank you.
It's a wonderful verse. Thank you. I was reading, as it is, I usually make note. I'm not showing my ego here, but I don't like to sit here unless I have made some note. I would sit and talk, but I'm being selfish. I want to get something out of when I prepare for class. So when I read, I make a note. So I didn't even get a chance to talk half of the notes I have made because of the timing. But recently we had a class by Maharaj, I believe, Dhruta Maharaj, on Nityanand Prabhu's appearance day. And what is the role of Nityanand Prabhu? And that chapter in Chaitanya Charitamrita explains so detailed, and also about impersonalism, how this creation and the Kshirodakshai Vishnu enters into the each and every living entity's heart as a super soul, and how that super soul is the Anumanta, okay, approver of whatever the activity. And there is another point made in this text also, that the super soul stays with us. He is the witness, and he is the approver of whatever the activity we will perform. So all of that is several pages of discussion in there, refuting the thinking of the impersonalism, saying that, how can the impersonalists claim that the soul merges into the Supreme Personality of Godhead? And the part I was trying to find, I'm just going by the memory. I probably didn't bookmark it or put it in there in a perfect chronological order or whatever. But the impersonalists, and this is Srila Prabhupada saying that in one of the books or classes, he says, the people who don't have an appreciation of this even material world, forget about the God. Those are the one are the impersonalists. They can't understand how this creation comes about. And those people become the impersonalists. So how can they even talk about soul merging in a Brahma Jyoti and merging into the Supreme Personality of God? Very nice explanation in there. In the Chaitanya Chaitamrita, very nice. Yeah. Anything else? Yes, Prabhuji. Shri Shri Radha Nila Madhava ki.
Thank you for the class. What you were saying about
I'm sorry.
what you were saying about surrendering to a spiritual master, it had me thinking about a verse that one's first spiritual master is
The spiritual master should be
the one
talking about Krishna. Should be expert in a Vedic conclusion. Doesn't have to know each and everything about the Vedas. But the Vedic conclusion, what is Veda trying to teach us? Now, the best book for those are Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. All of those are summarized by Vyasdev for us, getting all the extracts from the Vedas of the summary. So the spiritual master should know the Vedic conclusion, should be expert. Because if you don't understand, how can you explain to somebody else? That's number one. And number two, should be expert at or should be at devotional service. Okay. Those are the two things in Mundak Upanishad in that particular text that's discussed.
Okay, what I wanted to know was that there's a verse that says one's first spiritual master is the ones who give one their birth, and more directly, someone's spiritual master is the spiritual master that gives someone their second birth, the Brahman initiation, Brahman thread.
Okay.
And even more directly is that master who is, I'm going to summarize what the verse is, that master that provides the spiritual teachings to all members of society. So I'm wondering who that third entry in that verse is. Is it describing Paramatma or Prabhupada or just any one who is out there spreading Krishna consciousness to anyone that they encounter?
Okay. So if I understand your questions, number one, I think you are a smart man and you asked a lot of good questions. Last time you had a question about not so much related to the topic, but that's okay. I will answer it, and I answered your question that day also after the class. I will do the same thing today. I'll briefly answer what your question is. You were saying that the spiritual master, and you were saying first birth and a second birth, that's what you were asking, right? We all, in the age of Kali, you're talking about it today's, right? Or you're talking about in a general spiritual master. Spiritual master are, we all take birth from the mother's womb. That's the first birth we take, okay? And the second, according to our Rupa Nuga, or as a follower, as a Rupa Goswami is a follower, then we take our first initiation, which is a Harinam initiation, that's considered a second birth. And then we get Brahmin initiation, okay? So those are the births. Is that what your question was?
Yeah, I understand that. My question is more about this third part of that verse that I'm recalling, that even more directly than those spiritual masters that you're describing is the one who leads all members of society to spiritual realization. And I'm wondering if that's describing Prabhupada or Paramatma or all the devotees that are spreading the rays of the
help me understand his question. His question is,
There's a verse that I've seen quoted in some purports where it says that one's one's first guru is their parents.
Okay.
And then the second guru is the
Okay.
one who gives diksha.
Okay. Okay.
But the third guru is basically one's shiksha guru, one who is able to instruct and enlighten the
Right.
masses in
Right,
spiritual knowledge.
right.
So
right.
his question is, who is that third guru?
Who is the third?
He's asking, is it the Paramatma? Is it Srila Prabhupada? Or is it any devotee who is preaching the glories of the Lord?
Preaching. Okay. So, I'm going to top of my head what I remember. Okay, the Chaitya Guru is the Supreme Personality of Godhead that sits in your heart, and he guides you also. Okay, along with your spiritual master, is guiding you also. Now, where does the spiritual master get that guidance for you? He also has a super soul sitting in his heart. Okay. Now, super soul, if you go in the Bhagavad Gita, said Kshetra, Kshetragna, and all of that whole chapter, super soul or Supreme Personality of Godhead, he knows everybody's business, quote unquote. Okay? He knows what your body is thinking, Kshetra, your Kshetra. He knows his Kshetra, his Kshetra. He is aware of what your desires are. Okay? So he also knows what spiritual master is, where his philosophy is what he is thinking. So both of those are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the super soul sitting in a heart. Chaitya, they are the one who are guiding. I don't know whether I answered your question directly. Pranahari, you have a comment on that? Or Radhakrishna Prabhu?
I think it's all the devotees who are, I mean, it's basically just referring to, I mean, there's different reference. I think I was looking for the verse that you're talking about because I think it's phrased a little different.
If you look at it, even trees, those are six gurus. We learn from the trees. What do we learn from the trees? Tolerance. They stand in a hot and a cold. Right? They suffer. They tolerate all that. What do they give us? Flowers, fruits, shade. Okay? When they die, when it dries up, what will happen? We use it as a fuel. Okay? So, we learn from that also, that we should be tolerant like a tree. Okay? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in the Sishtastakam, okay? Tarorapi sahisnuna, amani namanadina. Just like grass, you stample on it, tolerates all the pain around it. So we learn from all those. So we're supposed to be learning from, we have so many six gurus. Not just the devotees only, but the other also. We learn from them.
I was also going to say, it's, in traditional Vedic society, one of the higher castes, Vaishya, Kshatriya, Brahmana, will take Upanayana at an early age from, the family guru or whatnot. So they'll get Brahman thread, they'll get initiated early on, so that's considered the second birth. But then for certain levels of spiritual teachings, they might seek from great sadhus, great saintly persons in life. So that's what it's talking about, that guru is going to enlighten you in basically, Bhagavat Dharma or like that. I think that's what it's kind of referring to in traditional Vedic culture.